Hello everyone and welcome to this fly tying video. Today we're going to tie a Mayfly Nymph. Here in the vise I have a size 16, this is a Tiemco 113 BLH, so it's a nymph hook, just a little bit stronger wire and this nice black finish. The materials for this fly are not going to be so many, but to start off I'm going to use some pheasant tail for the tail and the body. To rib the fly I'm going to use some ultra wire. This is a small size in the color brown. For the thorax I'm going to do a dub mix between some Hare in olive and also some of this SLF Spikey dubbing. This one is the color called Natural Fox. And then to add a little bit of sparkle I'm going to use some Krystal flash, here just one strand, and this is the color Pearl. And to add some legs and to imitate this like more of an emerging Mayfly Nymph I'm going to use some CdC, this is in the color Black. So this one is a natural black, it's like this dark brown grey. For the thread I'm going to use some uni 8/0 in olive. I've run out of all my Semperfly nanosilk, so I'm going to use this one. I'm going to start a little bit behind the eye and put down a layer of thread about to where the barb is, or this hook doesn't have a barb, but where the barb is on a hook with barb. And here I'm going to stop and I'm going to tie in the first material, which is going to be this pheasant tail. This one has been dyed in a quite light olive, and I'm going to take 5 fibers and put them 90 degrees from the stem. This is going to align the tips, and then I'm going to tear these off. And then I'm going to take these and measure out the length of the tail. I don't want these to be too long. A little bit slightly longer than half the body, or slightly shorter than the whole length of the body. This is about the same, you just have to choose how long you want these. I'm going to hold these and tie them in on my way back. So just a few turns. And then what I like to do is to make one turn underneath. Just going to splay these out just a little bit. And then one turn up on top. Then I've taken out some of this small brown wire, and I like to use this brown instead of copper. It just has this little more dull effect. Just going to imitate these insects a little bit more, or just make a little more natural fly. So I'm going to tie this in the whole length of the body. I don't want to leave this short, or it's going to make a bump right here in the middle. Then here these fibers are very long, these pheasant tail fibers, so I can do this, but if you have a little bit shorter ones I would suggest you just tie them in here at the back and then leave them at the back instead of taking this up and then back down. So then I'm going to go back down with these pheasant tail fibers right to where I tied in the tail and the wire, and then back up again and stay just a little bit behind the eye. And then I'm going to start making the body, just bringing these up in touching turns. Make sure that these stay quite flat. And I'm going to take these up right to the thread and then tie them off. 2 turns, then one in front. You can then come in with your scissors and cut these off really close. And then with the wire I'm going to counter wrap this wire to add a little bit of segmentation and also to bind down this pheasant tail, making it a little bit more secure. So right up to the thread, and here one turn over, then in front, and I'm going to repeat this 3 times. And now it should be secured. Then bend and break this wire away. And then I'm going to go back just slightly, and here I'm going to take a little bit of this dubbing mix. I just mixed up a little bit of this olive hair and this spiky dubbing, and I'm going to build up a little dubbing ball right here, and this is going to be the start of the thorax and also help to keep all the other materials in place. So here just a little bit of dubbing. Then I'm going to take the Krystal flash, and here I've cut away just a little piece. It's easier to work with it this way. And here I'm going to tie this in about half the length of the body, and starting on my side I'm going to tie this down 2 turns, and then I'm going to fold this over and tie it down on the other side as well. There we go. And then I'm going to align these and cut the other one, or the other end as well. So now we have these splaying out to the sides, and these are going to represent maybe the legs or just a little bit of this sparkle on the fly, making it a little bit more alive. Then here I've taken one single CdC feather, and I've put all the fibers 90 degrees from the stem, and I'm going to use my magic tool, or the magic tool from Marc Petitjean, and this is the clip. And what I'm going to do is to take these fibers, holding just one side like this, and then cut them off right close to the stem. And now I have all these fibers aligned and easy to work with. And the technique I'm going to use to incorporate these is the split thread technique. So I'm going to spin my bobbin counterclockwise. This is going to make the thread really flat, and you can then split it in 2 using a dubbing needle. Try to split it right in the middle, and then you keep this little loop open, and I'm then going to insert the CdC in between the 2 threads, so the 2 parts of the thread that we just made, making just a little bit stick out to one side and then the longer part on the other. Then I'm going to start to spin this between my fingers, and then spin your bobbin clockwise again. And this is going to cord up the thread and trap all these fibers in between. And then I'm going to go right in front of these Krystal flash legs, as you can call them, and making sure to take back or pull back all of these CdC fibers as you go. This way you won't have any problem near the eye. Then right up to the eye and then back again, just tidy up this little space. And there we have a few of these little fibers sticking back, and this is going to trap some air, making some nice bubbles in the water, and also just add to the bugginess of this pattern. And then if you have some of these fibers that you think are a little bit too long, you can just cut these away, trimming everything to length. And here, as you can see, you don't need much of this. Here on a size 16, it's better to keep the CdC on just a little bit less. It will make for a better looking fly and also a whole lot more natural. And then the last thing to do is to build up the head and finish off the thorax. And for this I'm going to use a little bit more of the same dubbing mix. So I'm going to cover up all these ends. Try to make sure that the 2 Krystal flash legs are staying in place. And then I'm just going to bring up the dubbing right to the eye, and make sure you pull back on every turn you make so you don't crowd the eye. There we go. Just going to push back all the materials, make room for a small little head here right behind the eye. A few turns. Then with my whip finish tool, I'm just going to do a 3-turn whip finish, building up a little green head on the fly. And here you can then add just a little bit of glue to secure this, and I'm also going to brush out just a little bit of this dubbing and mix it with the flash and the CdC. So there's the fly done. So there we have this little Mayfly Nymph emerger. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time, and happy times.